so it is no secret that these newer RS3s are way too quiet. But today, we're gonna fix that. For those of you who are new to the channel, the RS3 is still fairly stock. After repairing some minor damage, we addressed the factory fitment with IBAC lowering springs and spacers. We installed the full Maxton kit, and we have also fitted this 5-inch JDY air intake paired with the Eventuri elbow. And now we're headed to a mate's shop, WinFab Performance in Brisbane, for a full custom 4-inch downpipe and OPF delete, in hopes to bring back the iconic 5-cylinder sound that these cars are known for. Now before we get into it, we are disconnecting the battery to stop the car freaking out when we start disconnecting everything. And of course, we remove the air intake to allow plenty of room to access the downpipe.
So basically, to remove the downpipe and this midsection, this whole rear section of the exhaust shaft to come off, bracket, the tail shaft will have to come off as well, and then at that point we should be able to undo it from the top of the engine bay, undo these bolts here that are connected to this hanger. Basically what we're doing is, the current system is very restrictive. It's got lots of cats, lots of OPFs, and basically stuff that makes you go slow, and we're just wanting to go a bit faster, so and a bit more noise. Just gonna redo all that, full custom 4-inch downpipe, and then split it down into the 2, and then replace this midsection while still keeping it legal.
Now it's time to remove the exhaust. To do this, we started by loosening the panels under the car to give us more room to work, then we loosened up the exhaust clamps. Remove the hanger, remove the sensors from both OPFs. Then we had more screws to remove, and don't forget to unplug the factory exhaust valves. And now the back section of the exhaust is ready to come out. So the back end of the exhaust is now out, and with that out of the way, the next step, well, we've already loosened the heat shield here, so we'll get that out of the way. With that out of the way, we can now disconnect the tail shaft. The reason why we have to disconnect the tail shaft is because the stock downpipe splits into 2 and goes around the tail shaft. But the new downpipe we are installing will just be a single pipe around one side of the tail shaft. But yeah, so the next step, once that truck is gone, the next step is to continue removing the tail shaft, and then we'll drop the car and we'll start disconnecting the downpipe from above. That's all. That's all, folks. With the tail shaft out of the way, we can now start to remove the downpipe. Firstly, we removed all the sensors, and then we attempted to remove the downpipe, but we were not having any luck. The stock cat was way too big to fit through this gap. So we ended up having to remove the skid plate and disconnect the roll stop engine mount so we could pry the motor away to allow that extra bit of clearance. On camera, this looks simple, but it honestly was quite a mission. But thankfully, we got the downpipe out.
Righto, so last time we were on camera, we were basically pulling out the tail shaft. Since then, we've pulled out the downpipe, the heat shield that ran across the back of the firewall and then along the whole tunnel of the car. Also took off the skid plate and the roll stop engine mount so that we could sort of pry the motor away to get the downpipe off, because the cat's massive on it. So basically what we're doing now is we've got the emulator for the OPF delete. We'll run it down under the car and then to all the different sensors throughout the motor and yeah, start making the downpipe.
If you are thinking about installing one of these emulators on your RS3, I'll provide a link in the description to a full detailed install guide. But in short, the emulator harness is fed down the back of the motor and is connected to both OPF sensors under the car. Then it is also connected up top to the cam sensor, O2 sensor, and lastly, the Prex 2 sensor, and I'm honestly not sure what this one does. But like I've said in the past, I really don't know what I'm doing and I'm just learning as we go. And in case you were wondering, we're installing this emulator to stop the car throwing any codes and going into a limp mode while we wait to get the car tuned. So that's a wrap for today, day one. Just to recap everything we did today, we pretty much uninstalled all the factory exhaust, the back end, midsection, and the downpipe. We did have to remove the tail shaft in the process to get the downpipe out. With that all done, we also managed to install the XPF emulator so that the car doesn't throw a code when all the work is complete. But I won't be able to make it back here tomorrow, but Ezra's going to film on his phone any progress he makes with the welding and fabbing up the new downpiping system. But yeah, that's it for today.
Righto guys, welcome back to day 2 of the RS3 exhaust build. I've just spent the morning putting all the old system back on and all the heat shields. Sorry about the noise, it's a busy workshop today. Yeah, basically I'm just going to start fabricating up this downpipe. Yeah, go from there and I'll film what I can. So that's the 4-inch, then merges down to 2.5-inch pipes. A little bit unconventional the way I've done it, but next time it'll be a bit more efficient when I do it, but that's it. That's probably the hardest part of the exhaust. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. Should work well. I've just tacked the V-band that connects to the turbo to this 4-inch 90-degree bend. It's quite a tight radius, there's not a lot of room behind the motor, but chuck that on the car and then start lining up some things and making some marks, and hopefully the downpipe takes a bit of shape pretty quickly. There guys, just day 3 of the RS3 build for Sam. I've done a bit of work this morning. Had to pull this pipe off, do a bit of modifying, sent that flexi joint further up into the downpipe. A little bit of modification as the pipe was hitting the tail shaft, so as it currently sits, it is fitting, fits with the tail shaft, and that pipe there, that downpipe is 4-inch the entire way, unlike other pipes on the market, so it's currently just tacked together. Yeah, I'll pull it off and get a better video of it.
So it is now day 3 and I've just finished wrapping up a few things I had to get done around town, but now I can finally head back to Brisbane so we can see what Ezra's up to on the downpipe. And if all things go to plan, we'll not only have the first start up today, but we'll be bringing the car home. It's only been 1 second for you guys, but I've been driving for an hour and a half now and we are finally here. Now this is my first time seeing it since the other day. So come and have a quick look. Ooh, damn.
Bun rungings.
Very nice, look at that. I'm keen to see this. Oh damn. Oh yeah, that is thick.
Big
damn, that's a big boy. And that all clears the tail shaft nicely?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Damn. So we just realized that we've never actually officially introduced Ezra. So we thought we'd give him a chance to shout out his business, but also he's the one that's been helping out in the last couple of videos, as you guys have seen. And so I think it's only fair that we introduce him. So, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Ezra, and I'm the owner of Midpipe Performance. Basically specialise in stainless, aluminium, titanium, do exhaust, basically anything you need, anything you want, turbo systems, intercoolers, you name it. Yeah, specialise in like Mitsubishis and Hondas and stuff, and I guess sort of opening up the world of European stuff doing this as well. Located in Rockley, so come on down if you're in Brizzy area.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, as you guys have seen so far in this video, and as you'll continue to see throughout the rest of the video, Ezra does do a good job, so definitely contact him if you're in the Brisbane area, or can get your car here, I guess, in any way, because he definitely does a good job. But now, it's probably a good idea to kind of catch you guys up with what he's done while we've been away. I know you guys did see the footage, but yeah, I guess give us a quick rundown of what kind of setup we've done here.
So pretty much right now there's a 4-inch dump it's a high flow 4-inch dump, so it's good for lots of power and lots of noise. It's got a single performance flexi in there, then the V-band on the end. And then that will mate up to this existing twin pipe with this pipe that's behind us. Originally the OPF is in there, but we don't want OPF, so just sort of got the bungs going on now, and so that goes from a 4-inch to a twin 2.5-inch pipe. Yeah, it's pretty much done, but as soon as it's done we'll install it, and first start should be pretty good.
Well, you've done a good job though. Crushed it.
She is good.
I don't know how I know this, but I have a feeling this thing's gonna be loud. What do you think?
That's the goal. We don't like cats. Like, I'm more of a dog man.
What do you mean? We got high flow cats in there. Somewhere up there. Just can't see them. Now definitely don't go anywhere just yet, because as we said, we're not far away from the first startup, and you definitely don't want to miss that. But for now, we're just gonna go eat some lunch, so we'll be back shortly. And just like that, Ezra has finished fabricating both the downpipe and midpipes. And how much better do these look? So here we have the new downpipe. As you can see, it comes together pretty good. We've had to weld in new bungs, and we've just pretty much tried to match up the positioning as close as possible to the stock downpipe. But clearly, as you can see, this downpipe is going to have a lot less restriction than the stock one, so that's good. And then also on the new midsection, once again, a lot less restriction, but on this one the new bungs wouldn't fit, so we had to cut out the original bungs off the stock midsection and weld them into this one. Again, they're all placed in as close as possible to the same positioning as the original midsection. Now, with both these pieces ready to go, it's time to install them, get them on the car, reinstall the tail shaft, and we'll get our first startup. Let's go. So the custom downpipe and midsection is just about installed. We just need to refit the final sensors at the top of the downpipe, reinstall this huge JDY air intake, reconnect the battery, and finally, the car is all back together. Okay, so the car is finally all back together now. We've reattached the battery, everything is all ready to go, and now it's finally time for the first startup. is a night and day difference from how it is factory. Wait, that is a different car.
Damn!
What the heck? Oh man, that's on the rev it. I gotta give it a second to warm up.
I'll move all these other cars out the way. Damn! Damn! Hell yeah.
Okay, holy heck, that sounds so much better than it did before we came here.
It's a happy man.
Dude. Damn.
Not bad, not bad.
Man, that is so much louder. Seriously.
Damn! Scared of the birds.
You guys have already seen it from outside, so I'm just going to point the camera at me and record my reaction. Nah, that is ridiculous. That is silly. And all we've done is the downpipe in midsection. We haven't even touched the back end yet. I don't even think we need to, but we still might do it anyway.
Oi.
Mate, that sounds so much better, seriously. Even the difference outside the car from inside the car is huge. Like, it sounds loud inside the car, but
Outside is even better.
oh mate, that is insane. I don't know what it sounds like on camera, but you got to hear it in person. That's for sure.
I was braking hard coming up to that light.
Yeah, I saw that. The brakes were flickering. They were like flashing. Did you?
That means I was braking hard. So I was like, oh, I want to be like full power going past Sam, and I was like, gotta brake quick. But good thing these RSs they got good brakes.
Yeah. Nah, literally.
All the faith in the machine.
All thanks to this guy. He did all the hard work. I kind of just looked like I was helping, but didn't really have a clue what I was doing. But thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
If you do have an RS3 and you're wanting the same setup, I'm sure he can mimic it for you. But even if you don't have an RS3 but you have whatever car you've got and you need any kind of fabrication work done, this is the man. You've seen the results, so yeah, give him a call. Unfortunately, it did get a little bit too dark the other night, so we didn't get to film too many sound clips for you guys. So that's what we're going to try and do today. As you can see, we've got the car back at home now, and I've been driving it for the past few days. So I've gotten to hear how it sounds and I've gotten to experience it as well. But I thought it'd be a good idea to get a couple more clips today so that you guys can experience it as well. Now first up, cold start. you guys a quick few revs as well before we head off. But keep in mind the car does still have a factory soft limiter, so we can't rev it past 4,000 RPM. It literally won't let us, but you can definitely still get an idea of how it sounds. This time we've got the sunroof closed, and then after this we'll maybe even do a few pulls with the valves closed, because so far we've just done it with them open. But yeah, this is what it sounds like in the cab with all the windows up and the sunroof closed. Still hear it pretty loud, and honestly I'll close the valves now, so change it into comfort mode. Now the valves are closed, and if you're just cruising, like, it does a pretty decent job, so it's still quiet. You can still be quiet and loud when you want to, but I do notice that when you get on the load in comfort mode, even though the valves are shut, it almost sounds like they're still opening somewhat, because it's still a bit noisy. Like, I'll give you an example now. Like, once you get on it, it sounds like the valves open up, but when you're just cruising, it's a lot quieter. So if anyone knows what that is, then definitely let me know in the comments. But yeah, overall, car definitely sounds a whole lot better. And I think it's time to get some clips from outside the car. One thing I am kind of glad about, I'm glad we did the intake before we did the exhaust, because now that the exhaust is on, you literally cannot hear the intake whatsoever. It's way too loud. There's the occasional time where the revs are a little bit lower and you do hear it, but like, I can't remember the last time I really heard the intake since doing the exhaust. So I'm glad that we did install that first, so that we could get to appreciate what that sounds like. But I do think though that when you're outside of the car, you definitely hear the intake a whole lot more, just not from in the cab so much anymore, unfortunately. Also, I forgot to mention that I can confirm the emulator does work. It actually works a treat. We've had no codes come up since we've done the downpipe and midsection of the exhaust. Everything's working great, no issues. And I also wanted to give a massive shout out to Ezra from WinFab Performance. If you're in the Brisbane area or greater region, then definitely reach out to him if you want any fabrication work on your vehicle. And if you have an RS3 and you like the way that sounds, then I'm sure he can help you out with that as well. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, then subscribe and leave a thumbs up down below, because we've got a heap more planned and quite a few videos on the way. But that's all for today, so I'll see you guys in the next video.